I was sitting around bored with nothing to do, so I figured I'd show you a little bit about car engines. Not too much because I don't have much in here, but I can show you basically as far as the air fuel or air going into the motor and how it gets mixed with the fuel, and a little bit about how the sensors work with your ECM and computer for your fuel mixture and fuel economy. It all starts right here, the throttle body. Basically, this is the first thing that the air touches before it goes into the engine. You have a butterfly valve on the inside that opens and closes when you step on your gas pedal, which allows air inside. This black thing here is an idle air control. It's a little motor with a valve inside it, which basically allows air to pass through this hole inside the throttle body and to come out that hole to go into your intake plenum to keep the engine running when this butterfly valve is closed. Here you have a throttle positioning sensor. This tells your computer how much this valve is open. It works like a resistor. If it's wide open, there's no resistance. That tells the computer to use more fuel to make up for the amount of air going into the engine. So after it passes through your throttle body, it'll hit your upper intake manifold. You have some vacuum lines that come off of this to run different things in the car, like a MAP sensor. That's manifold absolute pressure. That also tells your ECM the pressure and the amount of air, or vacuum or boost, depending on the type of vehicle it is, that's in this manifold, and that'll tell your ECM, again, how much fuel to burn. It works with the throttle positioning sensor. Here you would have an EGR valve. Some vehicles don't even have these, so we won't really get into that. It's more for emissions. Some people have been known to bore these manifolds out bigger and smooth the insides. More air, and the smoother the flow, the better the performance. You can actually gasket match these just with a rotary tool, and you can do that at home, but make sure no metal shavings are inside when you put it back on your engine. You'd have to do a full port and polish job to actually really get any performance gain out of it. After you pass through your upper intake plenum, you have your lower intake plenum. And you see these 6 holes here, that every runner has one, and that's for your fuel injectors. That's where the fuel injectors sit. They're basically little solenoid valves. When they pulse by electricity, it opens a valve and allows a mist of fuel to go into one of these runners, or basically all these runners, but one at a time. And they pass through here, and that's where your air fuel basically starts to mix. Most lower intake plenums will have your thermostat housing here and a coolant temperature sensor. This also has to do with fuel economy. If this sensor is bad and it's reading that your engine is cold when it's hot, you're going to burn more fuel because the computer is telling the car that it needs to warm up, and it's going to use more fuel to do that. So if this sensor's bad, you could get worse fuel economy. If you ever have one of these off, inspect the surfaces around these holes here, because this is where antifreeze is, engine coolant. And if you ever have a crack or even a bad gasket here, and this leaks internally out this way, it'll basically kill your engine. Symptoms for that is you can pull your oil cap off, where you fill your oil, and look at the underside of it, and if it looks like a cappuccino, basically like the frothiness on a cappuccino, that could mean, doesn't mean for sure, but it could mean that there is antifreeze in your engine. But what it also could mean is that you just don't drive long enough to let your engine heat up, and that's just condensation and moisture buildup. If you do have that, consult your mechanic and see what he says. And before we get into the combustion chamber and everything goes boom, we have a cylinder head. So your air fuel mixture travels through those rudders and into the intake ports on the cylinder head. This is from a V6, so you have 3, and then there would be another head, and it would also have 3. You got your coolant passages here. You can see your valve on the inside, the valve stem. You can see the valve seal. You have your spring. and your retainer clips on the top. These two little clips on each side, basically if you push the spring down and remove those, that spring will shoot out, and then your valve's free. It's just two little pieces of metal, that's all that holds that in there. It's kind of a scary thought actually at high RPMs. So the exhaust ports and the spark plugs. This is the side you would probably be familiar with if you change your own plugs and do your own tune-ups and services in your engine, or on your car, sorry. Basically, again, some people bore these out, make these ports bigger and smoother, in turn for more performance. Then on the underside of the head, you have coolant passages. Coolant runs all through the head. And remember, this gets very hot. This is your combustion chamber right here. This is called a heart-shaped combustion chamber. You have your exhaust valve and your intake valve. So your intake valve opens, the piston comes down, draws in your air-fuel mixture, the intake valve closes, piston comes up, compresses all your air-fuel mixture right into this small little area right here, and then you'll have a spark from your spark plug that'll ignite it, cause the explosion, force your piston down, and then your exhaust valve will open and the piston comes back up and pushes the waste gases out the exhaust port. So the faster you can get basically good product in, and the faster you can get it out, the more performance you're going to have. And that goes for the same on all of these. Well, that was a really quick rundown of basically the beginnings of how an engine works. I don't have a whole lot of time, and I'm kind of limited on my parts right now just because of the weather. If I could get outside, I could show you a lot more, and I do intend to in time. Yeah, so basically that's a really quick rundown of it, and roughly a real quick rundown of how some of the sensors on an engine work, and can definitely get into some more of that, and also basically show you what sensors do what, explain why they're there, what they do, and what problems an engine can have, and how to diagnose and what could be doing what, because you'd be surprised. Something as simple as that throttle positioning sensor can cause just so much problems. I've actually seen them cause problems where people thought it was their transmission failing, but it was just that simple sensor. You know, they're not the cheapest things, but whatever. I have a few of them, so I keep them in stock for my motors. That's a quick gist of it though, so I hope you enjoy it, and when I can get outside, when the weather straightens up a little bit, we'll definitely get a lot more done and a lot more explained. I'm here to help. Well, not really. More like here to skirt around. Hey, thanks for stopping by, checking out the videos. Hope you liked them. Comment on them. Feedback's always good. Negative, positive, whatever, I can deal with it. So, why not hit the subscribe button up here in the corner? Then, as soon as I upload a video, you can be the first to see it and comment on it. Cheers!